This is Greg Troutline with Marine Technology Reporter TV, and we're here today with Rusty Jehangir, Blue Robotics, a company that he launched in 2014 via a Kickstarter campaign to bring to market its first product, the T100 thruster. We're here with Rusty today to discuss the fast growth and the future of his company. So Rusty, here at MTR, we've followed Blue Robotics literally from its beginning. I'm sure many of our viewers already know the company, but to start us off, can you give us a brief recap of the company today with insights on what inspired you to start the company in 2014?
Yeah, so first of all, Greg, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. I can tell you a little bit about our founding story. I think we've got a fun story to start off. I have an engineering background, mechanical engineer. I was actually working in the drone and aerospace industry back in 2010, 2012. And I was kind of getting bored with my job at the time. Things weren't going so well. And my buddy and I wanted to do something fun. And we decided, we'd learned to surf a couple of years before that. And we decided we were going to take an old surfboard and we were going to put solar panels on it, turn it into a robot, and we were going to launch it from the coast here in Los Angeles and hopefully send it the 4,000 kilometers to Hawaii autonomously under solar power, just as a fun project. Like nobody had ever done this before as far as we knew. We thought it'd be super cool, and we thought we could do it on a pretty small budget as well. So we started working on that out of a living room. We bought solar panels on eBay. We bought an Arduino microcontroller and GPS, had an old surfboard that I learned to surf on, and we started putting this thing together, and we found everything, but the one thing we could not find was the thruster motors to propel it. There were basically two options at the time. There were these bilge pump motors that like ROV competition teams, high school teams were using, but we didn't think they'd last for 3 months in the ocean or have enough power to propel a surfboard. And then there were the $1,000 to $3,000 thrusters, military grade thrusters being used on ROVs that were way out of our budget. And in trying to find something better, we found a lot of people online on discussion forums, on various hobbyist websites that were looking for the same thing. Some people were trying to build their own, and they were usually failing pretty miserably. And so we decided, like, maybe we can make better thrusters. And so I think we did. We came up with a really cool design that we now have patented. We did a Kickstarter campaign in 2014, got 360 backers, raised $103,000, and sold our first 600 thrusters. And it's been an adventure ever since.
Okay, Rusty, again, I truly appreciate those insights. So obviously, from that Kickstarter campaign in 2014 to today, Blue Robotics has grown exponentially. Using the metrics of your choice, can you give a by the numbers look at your company today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's really blown my mind how much interest there is in marine robotics, and especially low cost marine robotics to solve lots of different applications. Some of the highlights here are that since that initial 2014 Kickstarter campaign, we've sold over 70,000 thrusters. Just mind-blowing number there. We sold over 3,200 of our Blue ROV2 vehicles. And we've got 58 people on our team, spread around the world and here in California. We've got 50 distributors around the world. We've got 12,000 customers that have bought from us. And just some big numbers. That's all after 8 years. So we're pretty proud of where we've come.
So when you look at the company today, how do you figure that it's the most same and the most different from the company that you started in 2014?
Well, honestly, I think a lot of companies end up pivoting to something different than they originally started with. And that wasn't really the case with us. From day one, our mission was to make low cost enabling parts for marine robotics, starting with the thruster. And that's still our mission today. That's still the core of our mission. We have a lot more products now. We have around 280 total products on our online store, but they're all geared towards enabling marine robotics with low cost, accessible, well-documented, easy to use products. In that time, everything else has changed besides that mission. So we started in my garage underneath my apartment, built the first 600 thrusters on a Costco folding table. Now we have a sophisticated manufacturing line with data tracking, manufacturing engineers developing new tools for it, really awesome, well-trained technicians who do a fantastic quality job building our products. So what we look like inside has changed completely, but our mission's been the same since day one.
So when you look back, obviously 8 years under your belt and a lot of growth, what do you think has been the most difficult challenge to overcome, both technically and from a business standpoint since your company's start?
I think I have different answers for each of those. So on the technical front, seems embarrassing to say for a marine robotics company, but I think the most difficult technical thing is to keep things dry and to keep them low cost. There are a lot of ways to do that with expensive products in the past, but doing it at a very low cost price point is very, very difficult. We used what we called potted penetrators for a number of years. They use epoxy around a cable through a bolt to seal a cable from the water. It worked great. It got us started, but it had reliability and consistency issues, especially once our customers started pushing our products harder. So one of our biggest technical achievements in the last year is coming up with this little product right here. This is called the wet link penetrator, and it's a compression gland sealed cable penetrator. Just makes it way easier and like way more reliable. We put a ton of testing in so that I can say that. But we think that problem is solved now for us, but it was an ordeal to get there. On the business side, I think that when I started the company, we ran this Kickstarter campaign. We sold 600 thrusters. Before that, we just had a couple prototypes actually manufactured, and I didn't really know how to get something manufactured. I didn't know how to go to a contract manufacturer. I didn't know how to build it ourselves really, but didn't really have a choice because I had all these thrusters to deliver now. So we became a manufacturing company, and we started building thrusters in my garage, and I didn't really realize that I thought I had started a marine robotics company. I didn't realize I had started a manufacturing company at the same time. And I think it was probably 3 or 4 years in before we realized that that's really what we are. We're a manufacturing company and we need to be really, really good at it. And so we've gone through a lot of growth internally to become extremely good at manufacturing. Got a lot of the right people on board who know a lot about manufacturing and quality and doing things right and very consistently. And internally, our company has grown immensely to support that. Particularly during COVID, we took a really deep look inside. We got really focused on improving our quality, consistency, and like stepping our products up to the next level. Which is a big challenge, but I'm extremely proud of the result.
So, the first thing I see when I visit the Blue Robotics site is a simple statement. We're on a mission to enable the future of marine robotics. That, as you know, is easy to say, much harder to do. So specifically, how is Blue Robotics investing today to deliver on this mission statement? Yeah,
so that mission is very near and dear to my heart. And I think the way we tackle it is pretty simple. We make low cost enabling components that are they're available individually. You don't have to buy a whole ROV to get a thruster. You can just buy a thruster or a watertight enclosure or a wet link penetrator. And those components are not designed for one specific application. They're not designed for our Blue ROV2. They're designed to be used in lots of different applications. And so by doing that, we're not creating solutions. If a customer comes to us and has a specific problem to solve, we probably don't have a solution. That's not what we're good at. Instead, we build the tools to help other people come up with their own solutions. And that enables them to solve problems that are, out of our imagination, really. So the spectrum of people who are using our products is pretty immense. We've got middle school students building ROVs for mate competitions alongside Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution professors using the same product. Next to artists building robotic swans to make light shows in the water, to scientists capturing invasive species on the reef. All of those things are things I didn't imagine it being used for in the first place. So just providing those tools and letting other people use their creativity with them is really, really powerful.
So, we talk often about the increased need to explore the world's oceans safely, efficiently. But when you look at the industry as a whole, where do you see room for improvement? And what is Blue Robotics doing today and tomorrow to fill those gaps?
I think what I see is that there's a lot of people working on the same things and a lot of people who have the same intentions. In a year, I'll talk to 10 people who want to use robotics to map and study a coral reef. And what I don't always see is people sharing what they're doing or getting involved with the rest of the marine robotics community in order to collaborate on these solutions. So you've got lots of individual pockets of people working on the same solution. And I think we could work towards more collaboration in general. A lot of people in this industry have similar goals and intentions, and we can make more progress together. On our side, there's only so much we can do to encourage collaboration, but we always try to share the cool projects that our customers are working on. If you check out our social media on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that most of the things we post are not our products, even they're things that customers have done with our products. Really, really cool applications sometimes. And it's amazing how often you'll share something like that and somebody else will come over and say, we've been working on the same thing, like check this out. And creating those connections and getting people working together is a great way to speed things up and do this work more efficiently.
What, as someone who has just started a company, 8 years on and grown it tremendously, what is your number one best piece of advice for anyone else watching this, thinking of starting a new company today?
Well, so I'm gonna go off of something that I think we did right at the beginning that I think a lot of businesses don't do right, which is to pursue a blue ocean market. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people, when they're starting a business, they look at a successful company that they're familiar with, and they say, I think we could do that a little bit better or a little bit cheaper, and we could gain some of their market share. And that's great. There's industries where you've got to do it that way. And a lot of businesses are successful that way. But I think the way to ensure that you're successful is to find a hole in the market instead, not to look where other people are competing and try to compete against them, but to look where nobody's competing, where it's just wide open. For us, that was our initial thruster. There's the $30 bilge pump motor, or there's the $1,000, $3,000 military grade thruster. And there's just this wide open gap in the middle with lots of people craving that product, no competition for it. And, I think a large part of our success is just choosing the right market to be in and pursuing something that filled a market need, created new market space, and didn't end up competing with other market players.